Hello everyone, my name's Aaron Christensen. This is Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to The Stack, which has gotten considerably taller since last we met, but I'm not complaining. Today, we're going to be talking about an amazing release, Impulse from 1974, directed by William Grefe and starring the one and only William Shatner. I think it's time we just take a moment and recognize that William Shatner is a national treasure. Granted, he's a Canadian national treasure, but it's funny how he has just been kind of written off time and time again as a bad actor. I have been guilty of that as well. But the thing with William Shatner is that he's always entertaining. I don't think he's striving for realism. What he's doing is something that so many other performers do. Christopher Walken is not a naturalistic performer. John Malkovich, not a naturalistic performer. Charlton Heston, not a naturalistic performer. All of these people are recognized as solid actors. Several of them have won Oscars. William Shatner has in fact won 2 Primetime Emmys. So clearly he's not a bad actor. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's doing his own thing because we know when someone's doing a William Shatner impression. You don't get to be 93 and have spent 70 years in front of the camera and on stage and performing if you're no good. William Shatner is always entertaining. There's something about him. He has that Shatner mystique. This movie, Impulse, is one that he did between the end of the run of the original Star Trek series in the late 60s and before they started making the feature films of the Star Trek franchise. And he did a lot of fun things in the genre, in particular, Kingdom of the Spiders, Devil's Reign, and this movie. Impulse is directed by William Grefe. And William Grefe was an independent Florida filmmaker who made a ton of low-budget films, several which might not be familiar to you, but if you are in the know, they are titles that spark joy for the deep-cut horror fan. Things like Sting of Death, Curse of Tartu, Stanley, Mako, Jaws of Death. William Grefe is one of those filmmakers who stayed in Florida, did not go to Hollywood, and made his own movies and was very successful at it. He had his own studio, had his own production company, and worked. This film features Shatner as this swinging guy, Matt Stone, who breezes into town, marries either widows or women with money, and then murders them and then moves along. He's kind of like a Bluebeard in that way. And Matt is dealing with some serious childhood trauma. He saw his mother being attacked by a sailor when he was a kid. That sailor played by Blood Feast's Bill Kerwin. And he stabs the guy with a sword and apparently gets locked up in an institution for several years as a result. So Matt's got some issues. The film has a great cast, stars Ruth Roman, who people might recognize from Strangers on a Train and The Baby. She also did a zillion TV series. She has that whiskey and cigarettes husky voice. And Ruth Roman plays the friend of Jenifer Bishop, who is Matt Stone's next target. Jenifer Bishop appeared in several Al Adamson movies and a couple other movies directed by William Grefe. So Shatner's got his eye on Jenifer Bishop, and she has a young daughter, and her daughter is a bit of a troublemaker, and as such, she becomes the little girl who cried wolf in that she tries to tell the adults what's going on with Matt, and nobody believes her because they think, oh, she's just upset because mom is taking up with a new boyfriend and she's rebelling. So that's the basic story. We've got William Shatner just going crazy. We've got Ruth Roman trying to play matchmaker. We got Jenifer Bishop, who's playing the love interest, who's also having to deal with her daughter. And we also have Harold Sakata, who most people would recognize as Oddjob from Goldfinger, the James Bond film. He plays one of Matt Stone's former accomplices in crime, and he clearly has something over on Matt and is prepared to use it. This is a very entertaining film from start to finish. It's got a screenplay by Tony Krachalis. He did several low-budget films, including Blood Mania, Point of Terror, and The Attic, as well as The Killing Kind. And this is just one more feather in his cap. It's got some amazing scenes, including a slow-motion chase through a car wash and several nasty murder sequences. Now, I'd heard about Impulse before as one of those films that William Shatner had done between the 2 Trek series, but it hadn't clicked for me that it was directed by William Grefe until that Arrow box set came out a few years ago of William Grefe's work. And I was disappointed that it wasn't included on that box set. And while I was disappointed at the time, I am not disappointed now because this may be the home video release of the year. It is packed with supplements. Not only that, they have done a 4K restoration of a film that basically had been lost in terms of the original elements. It's not crystal clear, and that's okay because this is that kind of, well, fittingly enough, kind of a grindhouse release where a little smudge doesn't feel out of character. So let's dig into the meat of the matter because there's a lot to discuss here. We start with this fantastic cover art, and we have a postcard of the oil painting that was done by the guy who did the cover art. We have 8 pages of liner notes, and then we have 2 discs. We have one disc that has the feature, and then we have another disc dedicated completely to supplements. Now, let's talk about that. Grindhouse Releasing has simply outdone themselves. There's a commentary by William Grefe. There's a 15-minute featurette. There's a scene in the movie where Harold Sakata is being hung by the neck. Well, it turns out that he was actually being hung by the neck while they were shooting, and William Shatner basically saved the life of Harold Sakata because he recognized that he was in trouble. And there's a little featurette of that scene with commentary by William Grefe, and then there's a second track with commentary by William Shatner. How many little 1-minute sequences get 2 commentary tracks? That's the kind of care that Grindhouse Releasing has done. There's also a 40th anniversary screening in Tampa where the film was shot. That is from November 7th of 2015. It's a half-hour Q&A with William Grefe. And then how about this for a supplement? We have not one, but 2 entirely different feature films, both directed by William Grefe. The first one's called The Devil's Sisters, which came out in 1966, the same year as Death, Curse of Tartu and Sting of Death. It's kind of a black and white roughie. And then there's The Godmothers from 1973, which is a comedy featuring Mickey Rooney. Now, The Devil's Sisters, remember, your bonus film also has a commentary track by William Grefe. Other special features include a 30-minute documentary by C. Courtney Joyner called Between the Treks, kind of exploring those years between the Star Trek TV series and the Star Trek film series. There's also an hour-long Q&A following a screening of Impulse in 2022. So Shatner's 92 at the time, and he is just on fire. He's such a great raconteur, great storyteller, and he doesn't hold back. He clearly recognizes the film is what it is and where it lands in his career, but he's such a good sport about it. Then we have a series of interviews with Bill Grefe, each of them clocking in at almost an hour. And Bill Grefe also served as the second unit director on Live and Let Die, the James Bond film. There are also 5 hours of filmmaking seminars hosted by Bill Grefe. Believe it or not, we're not done yet. There are also some industrial films, one of which is called Investing in the Movie Business, which features Bill Grefe talking with Lauren Bacall. And then there are 2 Shatner industrials, one for Bacardi Rum, and the other for First Artist Media Entertainment, which is also known as FAME. Basically, it's an industry service, and Shatner walks and talks our way through the offices, talks about why FAME is so awesome. And FAME is awesome, isn't it, Bill? There are also 4 short films included, 2 directed by Grefe and 2 starring Grefe. The Cask of Amontillado and Underwood are the 2 that he appears in, and Thumbs and Iceman are the 2 that he directs. And then there are 20 trailers for other films that are under the Grindhouse Releasing umbrella. But wait, there's still more. I didn't even realize this until I came across Michael Denboer over at 10,000 Bullets. His review points out the fact that there are Easter eggs hidden throughout both discs as well. Everything from music videos to interviews to featurettes. It's just astonishing. And it makes you kind of go, well, why can't everybody do this? Why can't every physical media release be as solid as this one? This is why we buy physical media, is because we're going to get all of these supplements. It's not just about the movie. It's having all of the things surrounding the movie and the filmmakers and the performers in it. I forgot there's also an interview with Doug Hobart, who appears as the Jellyfish Man in Sting of Death, and he also did a ton of other things with William Grefe. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Right now, Impulse is the release of the year. I can't imagine anything touching this. It's such an amazingly comprehensive, and clearly they put so much care into it. It's humbling, and it's exciting, and it's thrilling as someone who really loves physical media to see people putting this much consideration and really making it a worthwhile purchase for the fans. Not only is this an incredibly entertaining film, it's also got so much more to enjoy behind the scenes. Again, we have hours and hours and hours of supplements here. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to go through them all before I did this review, but really it's going to take me a while to get through all that. And I got to be honest, I'm looking forward to that journey. So that is Impulse from Grindhouse Releasing. Pick it up now, starring William Shatner, Ruth Roman, Jenifer Bishop, and Harold Oddjob Takata. Whew! Please let us know your thoughts on the film, on Shatner, on Grefe, or anything else that comes to mind. And if you look down below in the video description, you'll see 5 more titles. You let me know which one you'd like to see taken off the stack. Until next time, keep searching, keep exploring, and keep sharing the scare.